Everyone, I'm going to do a video on the twin relationship today, and I'm going to do it a bit differently from normal because I have actually written a blog post on the twin relationship, having been doing a lot of research and reading up in the last couple of weeks. So I'm actually going to read out my blog post to you. This will be useful for anyone who has twins, is a twin, or is working with twins. So I do hope that some of the information will be valuable to you. If you know people who may find this useful, please do forward this video on. Alternatively, I will put a link in the intro to the video to the blog post in case you'd prefer to share that. And I will provide references to the books that I've been reading that I found most valuable. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading what I've written. Many people who have come across me in my work are aware that I come from difference, specifically mixed culture and neurodivergence, and that this is primarily why I specialise in working with issues around identity. What most people do not know is that I'm also a twin. When talking about identity issues, twinship and twinhood rarely crosses most people's radars. However, I strongly believe that for those that are twins, it's a hugely influential part of who we are, unimaginable to non-twins in the same way that being a singleton is unimaginable to us. It is a relationship where a person has never known being truly alone until one of the pair is lost, as we have the constant comfort and permanent presence of our other, often so closely connected that pairs may know what the other is thinking, how they feel when they're not together, or they may even choose the same clothes independently. A twin, at least in childhood, is a first priority for the other twin. However, twins face assumptions from society that are so much an undercurrent of our beliefs that even we don't think to challenge them. Surely we can only consider ourselves lucky if we have the fortune of being born into a twinship. It's a relationship that is truly beautiful and special in many ways, but negativity or fractures experienced within this twinship are often pitied or considered almost shameful. There are far higher expectations on twins that we won't fight, that we will get on perfectly, that we will adore one another. And when there are fractures, we are blamed for this more fully. After all, we're twins. We ought to know each other inside out. There exists an assumption that twins will be perfectly connected in a state of complete harmony and balance. So there must be something wrong with twins that are not, that somehow manage to fail at the relationship that everyone else expects to come so naturally and easily. Having twins is very often seen as a blessing, the specialness of a twin birth somehow dusting their parents with a golden glow, but it can take a higher level of conscious parenting than is required for singletons, even multiple singletons, to truly understand how to raise twins or other multiples. For twins bringing up singletons and vice versa, the ingrained rules and experiences of relationships will differ, and it may be impossible for each side to fully comprehend the other's way of existence. But being aware of and accepting the validity of these differences is a very powerful and positive starting point. The differences between twins and singletons begin in the first moments of life. Twins born and raised together never truly know the experience of the mother-child dyad, as there is always a triad in the presence of the mother, and the twins are always seen as, and often feel to be, one half of a twin, whether or not the twin is physically present. Twin children are often described by others for simplicity as the twins, but this generates a sense that the twins are a unit from which one cannot be extracted as an individual. The language used around children is powerful and helps to form deep beliefs about identity. The difference between a twin pair can be overlooked, unless they are used to compare, and the competition set up between twins can have a far more damaging impact than between singletons. There is a far greater risk of polarising twins. For example, this one is the clever one, that one is the sporty one. You only have to glance at popular culture and mythology to quickly find an example of an evil twin, good twin dynamic. One must be bad and one must be good. One must be the weaker one and one must be the stronger one. This type of subconscious thinking can lead to parents taking sides, creating expectations based on role. For example, that the stronger twin will support their weaker twin. And in worst case scenarios lead to a significant and damaging fissure within the family, or restrict a child's full psychological growth and their ability to achieve their potential. In addition, rivalry between twins can be intense, and twins themselves often focus on different traits or skills in order to reduce this rivalry and to increase the harmony of the twinship to avoid conflict. Inter-twin aggression must be managed by a mother who can contain the relationship, that is, to hold both children in her mind at once, their individuality or sameness and their needs. When one of the pair becomes absent through loss in utero, infancy or adulthood, and this loss will come to every twinship at some point, the impact on the remaining twin hits deep within our psyches, with many twins left feeling incomplete. The feelings of loss can also hit deep with estrangement as much as bereavement, and many reports indicate that this experience is common even when the remaining twin has never known their twin brother or sister, having lost the other half of their pair before, during or soon after birth. Following on from this theme, splitting or finding independence, usually during the teenage years but sometimes delayed by many years, can be incredibly painful and complex for some twins and can result in enormous feelings of abandonment or guilt on one or both sides. As a therapist, to work effectively with someone who is a twin or who has experienced twin loss through bereavement or estrangement, it is vital to not dismiss the importance and power of the twin relationship. Singletons cannot imagine how it feels to be a twin in much the same way that twins cannot imagine how it feels to be a singleton. The impact of the twin relationship should not be minimised. For other multiples, many of the same issues will be present, though the complexity of dynamics will differ. In summary, if you're a twin, if you're a parent to twins, or if you work with a twin client, you may need to ask some questions of yourself. Things such as, what beliefs do you hold around twins or the twin relationship? What assumptions do you make around twins? What views have you gained around twins or the twin relationship via popular culture? What are your thoughts around the cultural, religious and mythological depictions or polarizations of twinship? So a united pair that cannot survive with each other, like Castor and Pollux, versus a pair in perpetual conflict and rivalry, like Esau and Jacob from the Bible, or Romulus and Remus. How might a balance or middle ground be achieved? In addition, you may need to keep uppermost in your mind some key issues that might differ between twins and singletons. So, for example, issues around identity and attachment. Twin loss, whether through death or estrangement, is highly significant even when the twin loss occurs in utero or shortly after birth. There's a high risk of family fracture if each parent takes a favourite. There's a risk of polarising twins, good versus bad, strong versus weak, clever versus sporty, and this can limit their potential for full growth and for exploring the entirety of their characters and traits. Twins themselves may adopt different traits and skills in order to prevent rivalry and conflict and increase harmony within the twinship, though I would add, at what cost is that to the twin? Are they letting go of something that is actually important to themselves? Twins are often seen as a unit, making it harder to develop an individual identity. It can be harder to do things alone, especially first times. Where twin relationships are extremely close or idealised, it can be difficult to find separate identities or to form strong and healthy relationships with others. Indeed, a new relationship for one twin may be felt as catastrophic abandonment for the other. Where twin relationships are difficult, especially for one side of the pair, the intensity of negative feelings can be unbearable, suffocating, and again have negative consequences on later relationships. Where a new relationship for one may be experienced as deep abandonment by the other. So as a parent, again, I would add that when your multiple children are starting to enter this period of wanting to separate and find their own identities, it's going to require a lot of conscious parenting, a lot of thought and skill on the part of the parents to help them navigate this, to help support them with what may feel like abandonment on one or both sides. A therapist also may automatically enter into a twin transference with their client and should be aware of this from the start. While it may be impossible for non-twins to understand the twin experience, a good starting point is to set aside any voyeurism around the specialness of the bond, such as experiences of telepathy. It is undeniable many twins feel very special or lucky, but this difference sets us apart and others us, makes us different. For therapeutic work, it is important to view a twin as an individual in their own right, with an invisible bond that may not always feel freeing or healthy, no matter how highly it is valued, and that this other person may well be sitting on the periphery of all therapy sessions. I just want to end by stating that for parents of twins, as for all parents, mistakes will be made, but I highly recommend doing further reading in order to increase parental understanding of the dynamic of twinships and of the greatest risks to a healthy twin relationship. I have noticed that my videos are mirror and I don't know how to turn them round, so they're back to front. So this book is called The Twin in Transference and it's heavy going, a lot of psychobabble, by Vivienne Lewin. But there is a lot in here that is absolutely fascinating. And The Lone Twin, Understanding Twin Bereavement and Loss by Joan Woodward. This is fantastic for whether or not you have lost a twin or you have one child of a twin pairing. This will be useful in terms of highlighting the deep importance of the twin relationship to each side of the twin pair, whether or not the child is born or whether the children have been separated at birth. It is particularly valuable when a twin has lost their other twin, either through death or through estrangement. It's really, really valuable. It may also help parents to navigate the kind of splitting of the two twins into their separate identities, because this will feel like a big loss to many twins. I hope this has been really helpful. I think, there's a lot that isn't covered, certainly in the therapeutic training, around the twin relationship. It's not even mentioned at all, as with many, many issues of difference or identity. So if anyone has any thoughts around this that you'd like to share, I'd be very, very willing to hear them, very open to hearing them. If you're aware of any other books that you have read or training that you've done around this, please do share that with me, because I'm always interested in learning more about issues pertaining to identity. Have a great week, and if you think this is of interest to anyone, please do share. Take care, everyone. Bye.